Yo, 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 yo. We are back. It's your boy, Ma K. Smith. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. The WNBA playoffs are starting today. It's a lot of excitement. It's a lot of great things that's happening for the WNBA. But also, we got the MVP winner. Shout outs to Aja Wilson. And it's so crazy because it just goes, we talk about the WNBA's marketing. Like announcing the MVP at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday where everybody is asleep is terrible marketing by the WNBA. Like, if you're the MVP, which is Aja Wilson, you deserve to have your moment. You deserve to have people kind of up for like the social media landscapes and things of that nature, and people not waking up to the news, but people like being able to absorb the news and the content right at a reasonable time. I get it, it's a Sunday, but the WNBA dropping the MVP at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning saying, oh, guess what? Here are the votes and Aja Wilson won the MVP. That is terrible marketing by the WNBA. I don't understand. And maybe it's because football season is it's Sunday. But even then, that makes no sense. You still drop who won the MVP in a reasonable time, not 6, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. You do that anywhere between 12 to 10 to 12 a.m. So it made no sense. But the WNBA playoffs are upon us, and it's going to be great. It's going to be special. I think we're going to get a lot of upsets. But before that, I want to talk about Aja Wilson. Aja Wilson is the MVP of the WNBA. This is her third MVP in 4 years. Aja Wilson is the modern day GOAT. That's what she is becoming. Aja Wilson, once again, is the second player in WNBA history to win a unanimous MVP after Cynthia Cooper, who is the GOAT in a lot of people's eyes. This is Aja Wilson's third MVP in 4 years. She is the modern day GOAT of the WNBA. She is going to push to become the ultimate GOAT of the WNBA. That's how great she is. That's how talented she is. She was very, very special. The first player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 points. That special also led in total rebounds in this regular season for the WNBA. Also led in scoring with 26.9 points per game, 2.6 blocks, a high player efficiency with 34.9, led in win shares as well, offensive and defensive win shares. She surpassed Diana Taurasi for overall leader and scorer, highest total for a regular season. She had 26.9. Diana Taurasi had, I believe it was like 25.2 or 25.3 points per game in 2006. Aja Wilson is the modern day GOAT in the WNBA right now, and she's pushing to be probably ultimately the GOAT entirely. 3 MVPs in the last 4 years, and she's going to probably win the Defensive Player of the Year, and that's probably going to be unanimous as well. She was special. She was put up an all-time great season. We have to give credit when credit is due, and she's looking, and then the Las Vegas Aces are looking to do something even more special by potentially three-peating, which hasn't been done since the Houston Comets. When we talk about Cynthia Cooper and we talk about Cheryl Swoops and that crew. Now, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark finished 4th in MVP voting with a total of 130 points, I believe, which just goes to show you how special, how great her rookie season was. And if she had a lot of hate, she had a lot of doubt, she had a lot of people saying what she wasn't going to do, but to finish 4th as a rookie in MVP voting and to solidify yourself as already as a rookie being a top 5 basketball player in the world for the WNBA. We already know she's one of the best generators, regardless of gender, regardless of the guys' game or the women's game. She's one of the best generators to ever play this game in Caitlin Clark, and she finishes 4th as a rookie. Gave us low-key the greatest rookie season of all time in Caitlin Clark. So she finished 4th, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in another stream, talk about the hate, talk about how people really disrespected Caitlin Clark coming into the season, throughout the entirety of the season. And even the MVP votes was a little kind of like shaky, a little rocky. I know she finished 4th. She could have probably finish top 3, to be honest, because Breonna Stewart finished third. And to be honest, Sabrina Ionescu had a better season to me than Breonna Stewart, even though Sabrina kind of, been going downhill a little bit in the last week or so of the regular season. Her game hasn't been as tight as it was and how it's been throughout the entire regular season. But I thought she could have been fourth and Caitlin Clark possibly could have been third, to be honest. I was shocked to see Breonna Stewart finishing third in the MVP voting. Over Caitlin Clark, especially when I thought Sabrina Ionescu had a better just overall season than Breonna Stewart. So to me, I think that came out a little left field, a little nowhere. But also, it's just we look at the MVP voting and just the voting in general is very, very questionable in a lot of sense when we talk about, once again, Breonna Stewart finishing above Sabrina Ionescu and also finishing above Caitlin Clark, but also Angel Reese. Love the girl to death. Love what she brought to her rookie season, all-time great rookie season, but she got an MVP vote. Angel Reese got an MVP vote. That made no sense to me. That lets me know like some of these people that are voting aren't really watching the game. A lot of these people are voting with the lens of having biases on players they like or they don't like. And that's unfortunate because when you have a vote, you want to make sure that you're actually covering and watching the sport in its entirety. And you have being a journalist and being somebody that covers the game and that has an opportunity to place a vote, you want to make sure that you're being ethnical when you were talking about doing things the right way. And it seems like a lot of times when sports media and the journalists and things of that nature, unfortunately, they're letting their biases come into play a lot of times when we're talking about these awards that they're voting on. But Caitlin Clark, phenomenal season. Fourth in MVP voting. That's nothing to shy at. I thought she should have been top 3 in MVP voting. I thought she should have finished third. Hell of a rookie year. And it's going to be special going forward in the future. But Asia Wilson was the unanimous MVP. She was a bucket. She was the best player, eons above any other player in the WNBA right now, specifically for the regular season. And who knows? Maybe she goes out and captures another championship, and her and the Las Vegas Aces do the unthinkable. But shout outs to her. But the MVP voting is a little questionable for some other things as well. But we're here to talk about playoff basketball because the games are starting today. So let's break it down. Let's break some of down these teams. I'm about to give you my opinion on the keys to success for all these teams that I feel like going forward in the WNBA. Can they win it? Who's going to win? Who I think is going to get an upset? First and foremost, the Liberty versus the Atlanta Dream. I think that's going to be a sweep. I think the Liberty are going to dog walk the Atlanta Dream. I don't think it's going to be any type of – I don't really think the game's going to be close. I think the Liberty are extremely talented. They're more skilled. They have a better overall chemistry, and the Dream made it in to the playoffs, and that's great. They made it in, but they're not going to do anything special. The Mercury versus Minnesota. I think Minnesota is going to win. I think they're probably going to sweep as well. I don't know if it's Kalia Copper. She hasn't been playing as of late. I don't know if she's resting or she's injured, but I believe that going forward, they're going to really need her to be at 100%. And if she's not going to play or she's not right, I don't see them having no chance of beating Minnesota. I think Minnesota is one of the most complete teams in the WNBA. Now, let's get to it. The Connecticut versus the Indiana Fever. This has potential upset written all over it, but also has potential sweep written all over it. So when I look at this matchup, I look up at a situation where if the Indiana Fever can somehow win this first game today, then they have a better chance of completing the upset. But they have to win this first game today, and they have to come out and really hit Connecticut in the mouth. Because watching the Indiana Fever at times in the last week or so they have been allowing teams to kind of dictate their own pace and play the game that they want to play. And if you're the Indiana Fever, you have to come out and be locked in from start to finish, but you have to dictate the game and make it the game that you want the refs to call and you want how the play style of the game is going to go forward. The Indiana Fever are phenomenal when they play at pace. They are unguardable when they play at pace. And if they can push the tempo offensively and kind of speed up Connecticut, who is a team that likes to slow the game down and like to play a grind out, grit game and really have players that can guard Caitlin Clark defensively, it's key that the Indiana Fever win this first game. Because if they don't win this first game, I don't believe they're going to even make it back to play in Indiana. So this is key. This first game is key because the first game is kind of like sometimes a fill out game, but also it's kind of like the away team loves to try to steal the first game in the playoffs to really kind of shake up the home team. But this would be a great game for a great series. I think it's either going to be a sweep or I think it's going to go down to the wire, and the Indiana Fever are going to have a chance to upset. I'm sorry, Connecticut. But it's very key because if they lose this first game and if they allow Connecticut to gain momentum and they allow the Connecticut defenders and the refs to really play the game the way they want to play with being physical, being aggressive. And this is a bad matchup for the Fever because they have guards that can really make things very difficult on Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark because they can switch everything on the perimeter. Alyssa Thomas can guard, Bonner can guard, DJ Carrington can guard. They got a lot of players that can guard, that has size, that have length and athleticism that can really make things very hard. We already know the playoff intensity and the playoff atmosphere is going to be there. And we already know that like the game is going to naturally slow down, but all those things kind of favor Connecticut. That's why this first game, Caitlin Clark has to push the ball, push the tempo. Kelsey Mitchell has to push the ball, push the tempo. And they had to really go out and really play that 7 seconds or less pace and space game that they are known for. And if they do that, they'll have a chance at winning because they have better just overall players that like to score, have that offensive mindset, that offensive firepower to come out and, oh, we're going to turn this into a game where you got to score. And if the Indiana Fever can just turn this into a track meet, they'll outscore the Connecticut, especially if Kelsey Mitchell is on, especially if Boston is on, especially if Caitlin Clark is on, especially if they get a contribution from Lexi as well. So that is key for the Indiana Fever in this matchup against Connecticut, because if they don't, if it's a slow game and we're looking up at the scoreboard and it's the fourth quarter and it's in the 50s, it's in the 60s, that favors Connecticut. And that also allows the referees to say, oh, this is a half-court game. We're not going to necessarily call those fouls. We're going to let them play physical. We're going to let them play aggressive because it is the playoffs. So they're going to hold that whistle. They're not going to be calling a lot of things that they're going to be calling. And then we know home court advantage matters as well. This is a very, very important game for the Indiana Fever. If they do not win this game, it could be a sweep, and they won't probably go back to Indiana. And the run of the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark, their season will be over. But this is very key. You win this first game, you have a chance. And then Las Vegas versus Seattle Storm. I believe that can be a potential upset as well, because I believe that the Seattle Storms are capable of not just beating the Aces, but capable of winning the whole thing. But it's just like, what version of the Seattle Storm is going to show up? Jewel Lloyd has been in and out of the lineup. I don't know if she's hurt. I don't know if they were just resting her. But when she's on, she's clicking. She gives them a 20-point score. But Skylar Diggins has really came into the fold. Her point production, her overall player usage has gone up. She's looking like the Skylar Diggins from last year prior to when she got pregnant. Like, she's looking very, very sharp. Gabby Williams has given them a 3-and-D, another score, another length defender that can put pressure on the ball as well. We know Izzy as well for its like controlling and put in and locking down that paint. You know, Aneka, like she is still a 15 and 6, 15 and 7, 15.67 rebounds type of player that can play defensively as well. They have a great chance of upsetting Las Vegas in this first round. So, and I think they can do it. But the Vegas are still talented. The Vegas are very skilled. They have Kelsey Plum. They have Jackie Young. They have Gray. They have the reigning MVP, 3-time MVP, the second player in WNBA history to win a unanimous. They have her as well. So I think that's going to be phenomenal. That's going to be great. A hell of a matchup, but it's really a toss-up. So for the first round, I'm picking the Liberty. I'm picking the Liberty to sweep. I'm picking the Minnesota Lynx to sweep. So I got the Liberty sweeping. I got Minnesota sweeping. And I'm going to go with 2 upsets. Actually, I'm going to go with 1 upset. Oh, this is very hard. This is very challenging. I think the Fever are going to do it. I think the Fever are going to beat Connecticut. I think the Fever are going to get – I think they're going to get this first game, and I think they're going to go back to Indiana, and that crowd and that atmosphere is going to favor Indiana. I think they're going to upset Connecticut. And if they upset Connecticut, it's going to be one of the biggest upsets in WNBA history, and it's going to just increase the already legacy of Caitlin Clark. It's going to like really it's going to be crazy if they get this upset. I believe they're going to get this upset. I'm going to pick the Liberty to win over Connecticut, and actually I'm going to pick the Seattle Storms to win over Las Vegas because I don't know what Jackie Young I'm going to get. I don't know if the Jackie Young I'm going to get prior to Chelsea Gray coming back and kind of like handing the ball more and kind of slowing things down. When Jackie Young was really dominating this season, it was kind of when Chelsea wasn't really having the ball as much, or when she was kind of out of the lineup. That's the Chelsea I like. That's the Chelsea I like. But at the same time, it's just like I think Jackie was playing so much better when she wasn't holding the ball. Like I know Chelsea is one of the best passers this league has ever seen, but she holds the ball so long. And I haven't seen watching the Aces, Jackie, Gray, and Kelsey Plum all been on at the same time. So that's my biggest concern. So I'm gonna pick as an upset. I'm gonna be rolling with going with the Liberty sweep. We're going with Minnesota sweep. And I'm rolling with the Storm to upset the Aces, and I'm rolling with the Fever to upset Connecticut. It goes one or two ways for Connecticut versus Indiana Fever. It's either it's going to be an upset by the Indiana Fever or it's going to be a sweep. They won't make it back to Indiana. That's how I'm looking at it. For this Storm and Aces game, I feel like I can go either way. Like I'm picking the Storm because of the addition to Gabby Williams and the way Skylar Diggins has been playing. I like Izzy locking down. I just feel like they can match up and they can really upset the Aces, especially if Jewel Lloyd is being Jewel Lloyd and being that bucket. But the Storm are very, very inconsistent. Sometimes they look like they can win it all. Sometimes they look like they can get knocked out in the first round. But this matchup, I think they're not afraid of the Aces. I think that they have enough firepower. And that's a lot of times when we talk about the Aces, for their firepower, the Aces have so much firepower compared to a lot of these other teams where you look at top to bottom, they are better than mostly every team in the WNBA, but not this Storm team. Top to bottom, this Storm team can compete. Of course, you got Aja Wilson as the player, the one. But after that, these other players, like I still think Kelsey Plum is probably overall the second best player in this series after Aja Wilson. But like Diggins ain't she can compete with that for that second player rank. Like Izzy can compete against being better than Chelsea Gray overall, even though they play different positions and stuff like that. Like Gabby Williams gives this Storm team a very, very different dimension, because another dimension, because she's a scorer and she gives them length as well, a 3-and-D guy, which is what they needed. So it's that's how I'm rolling with. I'm rolling with the Liberty. I'm rolling with Minnesota sweeps, and I'm rolling with 2 upsets. I'm rolling with and I hope I like the Aces a lot. I haven't this year. They've been up and down as well, but I'm rolling with the Storm to beat the Aces. I'm rolling with the Fever to beat Connecticut, and then I'm gonna roll with Liberty to beat the Storm. I think the Liberty are the most complete team and in the WNBA right now. I think that as long as Sabrina does not forget how to play basketball, they should be good. As long as she's not going on these like 4 for 20 games, which she has recently, they should be good to make it at least to the finals. But I don't even think they're going to have to play the Aces. So I think the Storm are going to beat them. But Liberty, they got a tough road. They got a tough road, really. They got a tough road. This road is tough. But I think they're going to make it to the finals. I think Minnesota is going to make it to the finals. They'll beat the Fever, I believe. And I think it's going to be the Liberty versus Minnesota. And I think Sabrina Esco is going to get her first ever WNBA championship. I think Breanna Stewart is going to get her first championship with the Liberty. I think this is their time. I think this is their best season to do it. They've been the most consistent team in the WNBA, and I think they're not going to have to play the Aces, who I think it would be their toughest challenge, because they have, once again, top to bottom, they're the best team in the WNBA for its talent-wise. But the Aces haven't been the Aces that I've seen in the past, and maybe this is a time what they've been waiting on. Maybe it's a time where the playoffs are here, and having that championship hangover is very hard. It's very challenging to go out and try to do what they're trying to do to win a three-peat, and sometimes that can be a factor, because we know it's a marathon. Now the playoffs are here. Now it's time to turn up. Now it's time to show that no, we still don't let our seeding confuse. We the 4th seed, but we still the best team in the WNBA when it matters the most. Maybe that's maybe that's what we're about to see versus the Storms and in this WNBA playoffs. I do not know, but I'm picking the New York Liberty to win the WNBA championship. And I'm picking for the first round 2 upsets. I'm picking the Storm and the Fever to upset, but who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. I just know we're going to be lucky to see a great brand of basketball. And it's your boy, Ma K. Smith. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gone, man. Peace.